Hello, boss fam. It's your boy Dun Beezy, and once again, I'm just having some trouble with my stream. So it looks like it's up now, or hopefully it's up. I'm checking right now to make sure that it's up on YouTube. Yeah, it's up on YouTube, and I was able to go live. Jesus. Like it was crazy. Like right before I signed on, everything was going good. Everything is going good, and then suddenly, boom, internet's not loading. Boom, the software I'm in start messing up. Boom, everything start chugging up. But I'm about to start doing that thing that you see like Gary Vee doing stuff. They'll have they'll stream up for like 15 minutes and it'll just be a screen or something. And then if I do that, I'll probably be able to handle some of these problems. But anyway, before we get started, just want to take a second. Shout out the Boss Patreon. For the Boss Patreon, I'm giving out subscription services. And for these subscription services, I can just handle that later. Let's just keep up. Ask the boss. There's three different levels. On the first level, you get 5 video reviews every single month. Second level, 10 video reviews. And on the final level, it's going to be 10 video reviews, but also a one-on-one session. And the thing about these video reviews is I look at the videos, I talk to you about your different goals, and then after that, give you some coaching tips, some things that you can do on your skates, some things that you can do off your skates, and ultimately the mindsets that are going to help you really get to your goals. And you might be saying, but Dumbeezy, you give out so much information via YouTube and whatever. But that's different than actually having somebody that can coach you online. That's different than having somebody that's actually done the moves, that can watch you do through different stages and help you figure out exactly what you need to get to that next step in your progression. Because that's what it really is a lot of times. It's really thinking about that next step. Hello, thank you for coming in. My apologies again for the delay. But yeah, let's get into it. Today I'm going to be giving out some actual boss level knowledge because the thing about roller skating, and I'm not going to pretend, I really fell into the roller skating trap, but I don't teach. I don't make videos about intermediate level roller skating. I don't make videos about really getting the boss level on roller skates because that's what I really do is not receiving enough data to main. Wow. So, what I really like to do is I usually get people. I've been making very, very popular videos, but on the Boss Podcast and on the Boss Channel, we talk about the different habits and the different mindsets that it takes to be a boss. And in order to be a boss, good, you have to have different mindsets. And you have the different. What's the best stretches to do before skating? Check out my video on warming up, and you can figure that out. Cause I actually got a video on that on how to warm up before you skate, and it really changes. But yeah, so yeah, the boss mindsets and the boss habits, and the thing about really being a boss is you have to being a part about being a boss is having a goal, and having a goal, and then creating the different things that you need to do in order to achieve that goal. And my homie just asked me about specifically stretching, and I'm gonna talk about different stretching things that we can do today in the importance of stretching. But the goal that we're talking about today is going to be improving our middle work or improving our dancing in small spaces, because a lot of people who came up during the roller skating pandemic, it's a super big buzzword. Roller skating moves for small spaces is a buzzword right now because we got the whole coronavirus running around, and yeah, man, it's just like, oh man, like, oh bro, coronavirus, bro, man, oh my god, small spaces, everybody's at home. And if you honestly, if you see of somebody video, and generally if they're talking about doing moves for small spaces, it's usually like it's pretty much a beginner for a beginner tutorial, because the people who really are jumping into that space right now heavily are people who cater directly to pandemic skaters, and it's like a lot of derby people and a lot of park people. Ain't nothing wrong with that, but they not really dancers. They're not really dancers. But anyway, but yeah, so that's what we're going to be specifically talking about today. Actually looking better skating in the middle or skating in small spaces, because in the rink we call it middle work or the inside. But another way to say that is dancing or skating in small spaces. But the thing is, I want to start off with a quick story about my life. I'm actually a small space, a middle work specialist. When I first started skating at the Golden Glide, and one of my first big focuses was jam skating, and the part that stuck out to me the most was the breakdancing element. And you can't breakdance going around the rink. You have to do it in the middle. And the second thing that really always stood out to me was the circle, because in the ring with people will circle up and people will do different performances and we'll have different like battles and stuff. And then yeah, so we have different performances and we have different battles. And then also, what's it called? I would also watch people in the middle. I just thought it was cool. I looked at a lot of JB footwork, and I looked at a lot of things that people would do in the middle, because in Atlanta we have a really big dancing culture. We have a really big unique skater culture, because if you go to a lot of different places in the rhythm skating community, and if you go to a lot of different places, people have very standard ways of dancing. I honestly feel like back when I was growing up, I would break down skaters into three different categories. We got your classic outside skaters who are skating a different style or something. We have your middle skaters, like people who focus on middle work and focus on doing things on the inside, or they might have like a slower pace. And then we have your unique skaters. And unique skaters are skaters who develop their own style, they develop their own way of doing things, they develop their own way of moving, and they look completely different. Like some famous examples of a unique skater, I'm not sure if anybody's ever seen him, but Batman, he skates a lot in Chicago. He's pretty much like a legend. But Batman is 100% a unique skater, because he has his own outfit that he comes in with. He has very, very unique moves. He's really doing a lot of things that a lot of people aren't specifically doing. And another way to really identify a unique skater is that a lot of times they'll have an outfit. If somebody has like a crazy outfit or something, they're probably a unique skater, or you know what I mean? Or if they have like a different look. And another big thing that a lot of unique skaters have is their moves. They have different move sets. And a lot of times they have move sets that incorporate a lot of dancing. That's one really big part about the unique skaters. They Because dancing and skating are very separate. They're very, very separate. I incorporate a lot of dancing onto my skates, but I also have to study different footwork, and I had to create specific ways in order to be able to replicate those dance moves on my skates. Another really good example of a unique skater, or some a skater who I would say is unique, might be like Roger G. If you look him up, he's a super OG in the game. But Roger G is another unique skater. This is a link to the warm up video. I'm about to put it in the chat. I've also been looking it up while I'm talking. But in Atlanta, we have a lot of unique skaters. We have a lot of unique skaters, so they really, really inspired me. But when I first started roller skating, and especially when I first started jam skating, I actually got discouraged and I quit jam skating because I was having trouble with the breakdancing. Hey, Helen, how you doing? And because I was having trouble with the breakdancing, I actually had a moment. I talked to my sister about it and everything. I was like, man, should I be a JV skater or should I be a jam skater? And I had that situation where the dude came up and talked to me about it, like, cause he said, "What you gonna do? You gonna spend all your time at the skating rink spinning on your head in the middle?" And that's really like a question. Like, are you really gonna? Because that's a different lifestyle and something that people don't really understand, especially people who come up off the internet. They don't understand the culture. It's a culture. It's not just moves. There's rules and stuff that they follow, and there's different things that mean different things. So one of those things is, do you skate the outside? Do you skate the middle? How do you usually spend your time at the rink? And so I ended up choosing to skate JB, and I focused on the outside for years. I spent a lot of time the JB, standing man, monkey wall, bucket wall, against the wall, big wheels. Then I started doing a lot of up top, the crossovers, different footwork, different spins, different turns, and different pivots. Then I went out to Jersey. I continued that style, but I always wanted to be a bigger inside skater. I always wanted to be a bigger inside skater. But well, man, my current resolution is not even optimal. I don't even know how to change that, but I'm just gonna have to rock with it, and I'm just gonna have to say, man, which is a little bit off, and just work on my video presentation next time. But yeah, so after all of that, I eventually came back to the middle, and I eventually, because when I started saying like, oh, I want to shoot roller skating videos, like I was like, bro, the thing about roller skating videos, unless you really have a camera person to follow you around and do a lot of different things, you can't. You can't. You have to have a big element of standing in a spot. You have to have a big middle work element. And then also when I said, "Oh man, I want to skate for television," one of the first things that I noticed was like, man, the first thing that I noticed was you can't run around skating. You have to stand in a single place and skate. And if you're not staying in that place and skating, then your moves can't really register. So I started really focusing a lot on the inside. And then I spent years spent skating on the inside. Honestly, like when I go back, I like a big part of my reputation at the rink is an inside skater. People classify me as an inside skater, especially when I come back because I'm still practicing for television shows. And if I'm in an actual skating rink, I'm not like, "Oh, bro, I need to skate the outside with everybody because oh man, like I don't hang out with y'all. I don't know y'all. We not, I mean, we friends, we boys, but in a week or two, you're not gonna see me again for the next couple of years, and I'm gonna be back to what I'm doing. I'm gonna be back on my goals. I'm gonna be back on my purpose." And so I spent a lot of time on the inside. I spent a lot of time dancing. I spent a lot of time developing those things. And yeah, so like I've had a lot of time to really, really focus on what it takes to be in the inside. And I learned a couple things, and I've actually understood a couple pitfalls. And I want to start off with a couple of pitfalls. A lot of people want to skate the inside, and it's a really, really cool thing. But especially for like a new skater, especially for like, a lot of pandemic skaters, right now people are almost exclusively skating in small spaces. People are almost exclusively doing footwork. And when you prioritize doing footwork in a square, it changes the way that you skate. The allure of skating is because skating is not dancing. Skating is not dancing. The point of your skates and the thing that makes the skates unique is the rolling. Roller skating is about the outside. It is about skating around the ring. And that's the part that people really capture. And the second thing is when you only skate the inside, you lose the ability to skate the outside. Like when I go back, and something that I even have to train now is I spend time skating around the parking lot and I spend time playing that game because I know like when I go back, I'm going to need to, what's it called? Play the rink. I still got to play the rink. I still got to skate around the outside of the rink. And if you lose that skill, you lose that skill. And one time when I went back, I realized that it's difficult to keep your pace up and do dance moves while you're rolling around the rink if you don't practice the outside. And if you look at a lot of pandemic skaters, you'll notice something is they don't look good skating a lot of the time. People will get decent at skating in a very, very specific situation, but people won't look good skating in a plethora of situations. Like, and it's really, really bad because even some of the best in the game, if you watch their footwork, the second they stop doing one of the popular footwork moves, they start looking really, really amateurish. Like more amateurish. Like they start looking really unbalanced and offbeat. You can see them stumbling But it's just like, you know what I mean? It's like if you go from a crazy, the second they stop crazy legging and dribbling, it's just like, whoa, what happened? Because you could tell they don't practice any other moves, and you could tell that they don't really they're not really focusing on them other skills. And some people, you'll watch them, they'll look good on TikTok, they'll look good on Instagram in that square, but you take them out the square and you put them in the ring and they start looking crazy. Like, it's like, yo, when I looked at you on TikTok and when I looked at you on Instagram, I saw this level of skater and I saw this move and I saw this amount of, what's it called? This amount of skill and this amount of confidence. But the second you get taken out of that situation and now just basic moves around the outside, like people are looking just dumb weird and like very, very awkward. And it's like, man, like that's the danger of skating the inside too much. And people don't skate around in circles. People don't skate around as much. And additionally, you can't train your edges seriously by skating on the spot. Sometimes I'll see people, oh man, I saw this one woman. She looked so confident, but she was teaching some of the worst basics I had ever seen in my entire life. I remember this video vividly because she said train your edges, and then she leaned to the right side and then she leaned to the left side of her skate, like onto the side of the wheels. And I'm like, bro, what are you doing? What are you talking about? Like, bro, what are you talking about? Like, what are you really, really talking about right now? Because those aren't your edges. Those are the edges of your wheels. But when people are talking about the edges of your skates, that's not the part of your skate. And additionally, you're going to be balancing on your edges while you're moving. You know what I mean? So if you're practicing your edges standing in a spot and you're practicing it leaning back and forth, you never really develop that. And that's just a really, really big thing. And so one of the things, um, and now I'm outside in the South. Yeah, it happens like that sometimes. The snake walk is actually a little bit difficult with the toes and stuff. But the thing is, it's like, also, if you really want to skate the middle better, and the reason why I'm very, very confident as a skater, the reason why I can do anything that I want on my skates is because I spent so much time skating the outside. I was skating JB. I was skating up top. I was skating Detroit. And even if I lost that skill, I understand the pace. I understand how to get it back. I understand that look. And even when I skate the rink, like a lot of people skate rinks in circles. I don't skate the rink in a circle. I skate the rink in a wave. And then sometimes I'll skate a circle, I'll cut down the middle, and then I'll bang that circle back up against the other side. So I'm spending a lot of time really, really developing my edge work, and I'm developing my skills in another way. A way that you can only develop them on the outside. Because in all honesty, middle work and all the fancy in-place footwork, these are advanced maneuvers. And the first thing to really understand is it actually takes time to really get that. But it looks like we got 11 people, or I mean, I guess 11 people came in or out. I just always want to know, can we keep the likes up over 50%? So if you come in, if you like the video, please drop that like. If you dislike the video, you can drop the dislike. It all counts the same in the algorithm. But I'm just, you know what I mean? Young brother trying to make it. Young brother trying to make it. But anyway, yeah, thanks so much. I see them likes coming in. I see the likes coming in. I really, really appreciate that. But yeah, that's the first thing to understand about the outside or the inside and the dangers of the inside. Like, it's cool, but at the end of the day, we have to understand different things about it. And it's a big life decision. In the way that people are currently doing it, they're doing it in a way that's not going to help them, develop in the best way long term. Boom. So the next thing that I want to talk about with the inside is, or skating around it, is the process. Oh no, wait. Let's go mindsets. There's a couple mindsets that you need to have if you're going to be skating on the inside to make you look better immediately. And I've covered these before and I talk about them sometimes, but these are some ideas that I've learned over time. And it might seem like the best way to get better at dancing in the middle and learning footwork is just to learn as much footwork as possible. But there's a couple things that you have to understand. Or your footwork just doesn't look. Because that's the biggest thing. It's a performance. We're dancing. We are dancing. This is a culture. This is an artistic experience. The point of artistic experiences are to look different, to feel different, to perform for the crowd, to do the art. Do the art. And so many skaters, they want to do everything but the art. Everybody wants to take the rhythm out. Like, oh, rhythm's too rigid. Skating on beat is too hard. I'm like, bro, then what the French toast are you doing this for? Why are you even dancing? What's the music for? Like, the first step to doing it is understanding that we are being judged. And one of the main things that you need to watch out for is, are you on beat? If you're not on beat, like the most complicated inside moves, all the jam-packed tricks in the world won't save you if you can't skate on beat. If you don't understand what rhythm is, if you cannot count. And what I see too many people doing is, I think there's a big racial undertone when you say the word rhythm. There is a huge racial undertone when you say the word rhythm. Because rhythm skating, rhythmatic, the long history of coded language. And something that I notice is people associate rhythm with black people. They associate it so much that they disassociate from rhythm. People talk about rhythm like it's some type of impossible thing or some wild concept, or if you're not from the African American diaspora, like, you just need to give up on rhythm, bro. It's not going to happen for you. And the thing that I really think it is because the reason why so many people from the diaspora have rhythm is because it's cultural. Rhythm isn't important in your culture. Rhythm isn't a part of popular music. Because even if you listen to a Billie Eilish song, I don't listen to them, you can barely pick out the beat. Like, and then she get on there mumbling. That's not rhythmatic music. That's not music that makes you go down, 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 down. Or the blue face. Welcome to the West Coast. It's the best coast. You can find the best clothes and the best stroke. Like, boom. The drums, the connection to the drums, it goes all the way back, because like historically, started to get deep, is at one time people outlawed the drums because they said that, oh man, people are passing messages with the drums. They understand how people get excited. They like to hear that drum beat. But the rhythm is in the culture. And then you're inside of a culture that prizes rhythm, or you're inside of a culture that doesn't prize rhythm. And that's what really happens. But rhythm is just counting. If you can count to 4, you can do rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 3, 4. Now you just need to move your body onto that 4 count. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 3, 4. It's not about learning more tricks. It's about getting whatever tricks you have and practicing them on beat. The first thing a lot of people say about rhythm is, first it becomes a whole racial thing. And then afterwards, it becomes a whole skill thing. And then it becomes rocket science. You know what I mean? And now you're in a situation like, I actually let it go. I'm like, oh man, you know what I mean? And the thing is, it's not even about you. Are you gonna have the only way to get those textures is to practice them. The only way to get to that level of expression is to practice it. But you don't need to get to that level of expression. Hey Brooklyn, how you doing? And that's what I just really want to stress. It's not even about getting to that level of expression. Like, if you watch even like an old white dude that's really been skating, he ain't gonna have a lot of moves. Like a 50, 60-year-old dude that's really been doing it for a while, he not gonna have a lot of moves. He not gonna be doing a bunch of Michael Jackson hip thrust moves. But he is going to have a slight bounce. He is going to skate on that beat. And he's going to be able to do it constantly and really groove with it. And that's what I really mean. Like, you know what I mean? If 50, 60-year-old dudes that 100% has not been about this life their whole time, you know what I mean? He not in the hood on some Paul Wall stuff. You know what I mean? It's just but it's about understanding where you're really going with it. And I just want to demystify rhythm for a second, because it's not that deep. Are so stiff even after we warm up. I'm gonna get to that in a second. That's gonna be the next point. Because it starts off with the rhythm, and then and then after you get the rhythm, and because the rhythm, it's part about your performance, and then the rhythm also gives you an opportunity to practice it more. If you spend more time practicing less moves on beat, you're going to get more comfortable doing those moves. Because you're more comfortable doing the moves, you're going to be less stiff doing the moves. And then you're going to look stronger doing the moves. And that's what the most important part about rhythm is, and tempo. It's about building that control. It's about building the confidence, because if you do something constantly every single day, you're going to get better at it. And that's something that's really, really missing from a lot of people's training. People be so like, oh my God, a new jam-packed trick. And then they do that jam-packed trick to no music, slow, choppy. And like, now you got a bunch of disjointed footwork. Like, dudes be like, I got it down. A 1, 2, 3, and then turn. And it's just like, no, baby, you don't have it. Take it back to the lab, put it on a beat, and don't stop till you come back and it's off beat. It's on that beat. And that's what it really, really takes. Oh, because this is going to bring me to my next point. The thing about middle work and the thing about the dancing is actually completely disconnected from it's disconnected from practicing the moves. Actually using these moves in a way where it looks cool, or like if you're going to be at the rink in a circle with everybody, it's different than practicing them at your house. And I think it's a lot like a fight, because in a fight, you know what I mean? Hey, thanks so much, bro. Thank you. You got to. The thing about a fight is the only moves that's coming out in a fight are the moves that you got. Like, people be like, when you see like a fight tutorial, somebody pull out a knife and they hit him with one of these. And no. If somebody really comes up and presses your line, you're going to be, oh my God. Or you practiced your moves so much that you're not going to be scared when that happens. And a performance situation is the same way. Like, the difference between standing on the edge of the circle and dancing in the middle of a circle for everyone is huge. It's huge. And when you get there, everything inside of your mind is going to it's gone. The only moves that you can do in the middle of a battle circle are the ones that you've mastered. And when you try to do moves that you haven't mastered in the beginning, in the middle of a circle, That's when things start to fall apart. That's when you really start to fall off beat. That's when you really start to look crazy and fall and just. And so that is really, really important. And all of this really comes into how you get the smoothness. Because I think people really underestimate how long it takes to get smooth. People underestimate how long it takes to actually look good doing something. People underestimate it. It takes a long time. Michael Jackson would practice the same piece of choreo in the mirror in the outfit for the show for hours. Michael Jackson, the king of pop, one of the greatest entertainers of all time, would practice the same section of choreography in the mirror in his outfit. Michael Jackson was talented from the time that he was a child. They knew he was going to be that guy when he was in the Jackson 5. If you go back and you watch it, he's been getting groomed since he was a child in order to become a megastar. He was on television, 8, 9 years old, during interviews, doing interviews. And if you watch him, his first one, he's like looking down. He's like, "What's your name?" "Michael Jackson." "What do you like to do?" I like to sing and dance. But by the time he's 11, 12 years old, he's like, "Hey, I'm Michael Jackson. I'm 13 years old." He's telling jokes and stuff because he practiced. He was talented. He was built different. And he still practiced a lot. Even when you built different, you still have to practice these moves a lot. And that's something that I can't stress enough. And so when it's go time, it really comes out. And this is kind of the basis of the idea of when I say drills for skills. And this is really the basis of my process. Because the process that I like to do and the way that I break down my training is I start off with that warm up. The warm up, I tried to put it in the chat, but I had some trouble. It's like my whole YouTube isn't even working right now. It's really chugging up. But anyway, it starts off with the warm up and then warming your body up. Afterwards, I have 3 15-minute periods where I practice moves, a specific move on beat. You know, when you see that drills for skills video, that's how I actually train. I have a series of moves that I keep in my head. I have a series of moves that I have written down. I have different progressions. I have different exercises. Sometimes I create new moves and sequences, and I will listen to a song and I will do that on a beat for 15 or 20 minutes. I might practice one move. When I was trying to get my crazy leg together, I would come to training every single day and practice crazy legging on beat for 10 minutes straight. Sometimes I would stop and take a break. Sometimes I will watch myself in the mirror. Sometimes I will take a tape, I will record it, and I'll try to do something different. And it's just like, it's a big eat beat. My Dougie, 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 my Dougie. I'm fresh. Dougie, I'm fresh. But people don't want to do that. You gotta put in the work. You gotta do the drills. You have to build the skills. But what a lot of people do, and what a lot of people do on their videos, is they'll just cut on the beat and just start jumping around randomly. Nothing makes me more upset than that flat-footed 360 that everybody does in the middle of their video, because I know they think they spinning. They don't practice it consistently. They didn't work out how to make that move look good. Because I might stand in a place and spin and stop on one beat for 20 minutes. For weeks. I will spend weeks. I spent weeks doing the same crazy leg drills every single day. You know all those moves. You see the way that I look on my toes now? Do you remember when my skates first broke? I'm a different skater because I've been doing the same moves. Hey, Emma, I've been doing the same moves on my toes every single day for weeks. I already knew how to do the grapevine. I already knew how to do the moonwalk. I already knew how to do each and every maneuver. The snake walk, the crazy leg, everything that I'm doing, I've known how to do it for 10 years. But I spent weeks practicing it on beat just to bring it to my toes. And now when I'm hitting that glide backwards, you can see how smooth I'm looking. Now when I'm going whoomp to whoomp to whoomp to low spin, you can see how good I'm looking. And this whole time, I'm practicing my drills to build my skills on beat. You cannot separate the beat from the training in the practicing of the moves because that's when you get choppy middle-aged women skating. I'm sorry I had to say it. I'm sorry. There's a very specific demographic of people we watch hit these stiff jam-packed tricks every single week. Every single week. It's a specific demographic of people who are doing this. These are also people who don't dance on beat. It's very trackable. These are people they don't come from cultures where practicing on that is good. When you learn new moves, I mean, the thing is, just to talk about new moves, and I'm going to discuss this later, you can't learn anything unless you see it and you feel the momentum. It's like jujitsu. You can't put somebody in a submission that you haven't been in, or it generally doesn't help. It helps a lot to understand if somebody puts you in a submission first, because now you understand where you need it to hurt. You understand I couldn't move here. This is what I need to increase. And when you're learning a new move or something, it's really, really important to see it. It's important to see how they're turning their hips. It's important to understand how different mechanics work. Because honestly, man, I don't learn new. Yeah, I do learn some new moves. I don't learn a lot of new moves. There's not a lot of moves that I have to learn. A lot of times, if I see it, I can do it. Actually, 100% of the time. If I see somebody doing a move, I can do it. And if it's a move that I can't do, I can imagine what I would need to do it. And most of the moves that I can't do are the moves, a lot of it's because of the skates that I wear. Like if I see somebody doing like a lot of artistic moves, or if they're really working up and cooking it on the outside, I know I'm going to have trouble with that because I don't even have boots that are set up to pivot properly. I don't have wheels that are set up, and I don't skate in a situation that's going to allow me to safely practice it. So a lot of stuff like that. But really, the biggest thing is to see it. Your eyes are your best friends. Your eyes are your best friends because it's like if somebody like just throws their hand in your face, you're gonna react to it. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's how you survived as a human. Like one of the reasons why primates were able to become apex predators is because of their eyesight, the ability to look left or right. So it's like there's a deep physiological and a survival connection to your eyesight and being able to react to different situations. So that's how I usually do it. I'm not sure about that. I'm not a big. Etard asked me about his old skates with the frames and the trucks, and if he needs new trucks. I don't fix skates. I'm not a big skate fixer. There is one dude I know. He's in Atlanta. He customized the skates. I can talk to one of my friends, and I can put a bug in his ear to start talking skate customization. and he might come out with some material because it's his business. And if I say, hey, yo, bro, man, I see you working with this dude and this dude, people be asking me this, and this, and you could judge like that, and that. The videos will get made, but I'm not. You know what I mean? Like I'm not in a place to really describe that. But yeah, back to the process. Back to the process. And so yeah, that's it. And then after the end of this, then I spend 15 or 20 minutes freestyling. You know those videos where you see me freestyling or if I do a part? That's literally like the last 5 minutes of practice. And I only do 2 or 3 runs. I only do 2 or 3 runs. I only do 2 or 3 runs. That's why it's so wild to me when I see people like, oh man, they're in the park, they're in the joint, and they'll like I saw this like people will do this all the time. Oh, I'm trying to drop in. They'll drop in and take 2011 hits on the bum bum trying to drop in. But I'm like, if I felt like that one time, I would say, bro, you don't have the skills to do this. So you need to go run some drills. And that's the same way that I train everything. Like the idea that my practice would be full of high level activities and high level runs of things is absolutely ridiculous because that's not connected to success. You cannot perform on your highest level for long periods of time without getting hurt. You cannot perform on your highest level for large periods of time without getting hurt. That's why when you, and additionally, it doesn't produce the effects that you think it would produce. Like imagine if somebody went to the gym and they lifted as heavy as possible every single day. It'd be very difficult for them to create the overload that creates muscle differences. And it will also be super duper dangerous because you get weaker throughout the week. You're not as strong on Friday after a week of training as you were on Monday. And continuing to beat yourself down by performing at your highest level is going to cause injuries. If every single part of basketball practice is 5-on-5 full court press games, that's going to increase the amount of bump ins that you have. That's going to increase the amount of times you got to guard somebody coming to the basket. That's going to increase the amount of times that you drive in. That's going to increase the amount of times that you making cuts, getting possible fouls. And it's also not going to help you play better because sometimes playing better means understanding what I need to do differently. Or maybe I need to take 1,000 shots. So when it's game time, I'm very, very confident about my shot. And so that's why I only like do the dancing part for 10 or 15 minutes at the end. And then it costs more energy. You are not built to spill energy all over the floor. Nobody is. Nobody is. We're not that strong. Like humans aren't that strong. Our stamina isn't that hard. Like, and trying to run and do things at your highest level is just gonna putter you out. And you're eventually gonna get tired and try to do something else high level, and that's when the injury happens. And that's why when I see people talking about they be skating for 3 to 5 hours, I'll be like, dog, like what? What? Like one time, this woman, she was about to bust her ankle again because she had just came back from an injury, and she tried to hit me with the, you know what I mean, with the beginner talk down about how she should still be practicing that spin. But I had to, and she was like, yeah, man, this is my 3rd hour of practice. And I'm just like, and the whole time I'm thinking like, bro, what were you doing for the other 1 hour, 2 hours and 59 minutes? Because it's the end of practice and your spin is terrible. You could not have possibly been project planning this in an intelligent way. Because if you spend 3 hours doing something, you should logically be better at it at the end. Or if you spend 3 hours doing something, that should be what you're trying to demonstrate at the end. But to spend 3 hours doing something and then go for a move that's outside of your range that you should be fresher to do, this doesn't make any sense. Like break dancers, if you talk to B-Boy Morpheus, not B-Boy Morpheus, I forget his name, but a b-boy, he said, man, I usually don't practice for more than an hour and 30 minutes at a time because once I start practicing for longer than that, especially if you're going to be doing power moves and all types of handstands and stuff, you aren't going to be in a place physically to do it. I guess I really belabored that point, but you don't get better. You're more likely for injury, and you're not impressing anybody that understands what they're talking about by practicing longer and trying the hardest stuff for longer periods of time. Like when I started professionally dancing, I used to be a power dancer. I'm still a power dancer. I am still a power dancer, but what I realized was the reason why I wasn't getting jobs and the reason why I didn't get nods and the reason why people weren't looking at my videos wasn't because I didn't have enough energy. It's because I didn't look. And then one day I was out training with one of my bros. We was out in the sun, and he was like, because this was before I joined Step Africa, because the Step Africa is different. A lot of the people in it who've been in it, they're like 40 something years old, late 30s, 40s. It's not a young company. It's not. There is some young blood in the company, but for the most part, a lot of these people are middle aged. So it's like they got middle aged stamina. They got middle aged sensibilities. But it's a professional dance company, so we gotta look. Looking isn't about the energy that you put out. Looking is about the way that you do things. And after I continued to not get nods and I continued to get passed over for shows and I continued to get passed over in the studio and my media was continuing to be unpopular and I continued to get comments, I stopped focusing on how hard I was doing something or doing something at my highest level, and I switched my mindset to making sure that I do everything well. And that's why, you know what I mean? That's why I only freestyle for like the 10 or 15 minutes. He said, I got a couple questions. Let me go through. Jesus. Homie really do that. What's the feeling of doing good toe spins? How you practice them? Honestly, Adam, I'm coming out with a course. I'm coming out with a couple of some more support, but I actually have a spin hacks video. I'm not sure if anybody's seen it, but 5 tips and common mistakes for spinners. If you check my page out, like that's pretty much everything that every skater in the game needs to know. And I'm also coming out with another video, and I'm going to be identifying bad spinners to look for. And that's gonna be that's gonna be really, really good for people because that's what it really, really is. And if you're not naturally a good dancer, this is gonna sound stupid, but I just want you to bounce. Mr. Telephone Man, there's something wrong with my line. And the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Click every time. People focus so much on trying to Shimon. But what I really noticed is when I slowed down and I started focusing on just looking good, bouncing. This is my warm-up video. Just looking good doing this. Or the half bounce. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Excuse me. That's when I started looking better skating. Because bouncing is like the most basic move. And also, there is a line through the culture, through cultures across the world, through cultures across disciplines, through dancing forms, specifically those inspired and perpetuated from the African diaspora, that are all connected by the bounce. They're all connected by the bounce. For example, in pop locking, the Tom and Jerry, it's an official pop locking fundamental. In juking, the bounce that goes with every single move. The difference between pop locking and juking is the bounce. Step up in the club, gangster walking. What the does? When we fuck now, I'm on the club. What the step up in the club, ooh, step up in the club. And breakdancing. Boom, 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 that same bounce. It's written into the DNA of the dance forms. And that's what really separates a lot of Eurocentric dance forms from the Afrocentric dance forms. Is the bounce. There ain't no bouncing in square dance. Ain't no bouncing in Irish tap dancing. And when people do start bouncing, they look awkward. Like if you, and so so just practicing your bounce. I know that sounds silly, but practicing bouncing on beat will change your roller skating. And if you check out my warm up video, the one I just posted, and if you check that out, and if you also check out my drills for skills rhythm video, I have different bouncing drills in those. And I also have a lot of very, very simple dance moves. Very, very simple dance moves. Because that's another thing. Like, dancing is part the bounce, but a lot of dancing is vocabulary. One thing that I noticed is I got to a place where I have the energy and performance mindset to do whatever I'm doing confidently. I had the kinesthetic intelligence. I have a straight Sharingan. If I see it, I can copy it and I can learn it. But the thing that was holding me back in the studio and the reason why I wasn't getting picked for select was because I looked stiff doing a lot of moves. And I looked stiff because I didn't practice them. And that's when I started making sure that I'm working on my textures in different places. Making sure that I'm boom. Like even that, like for example, I could do something like this, but instead, boom, I'm making sure that it's like that every time. I can do something like that where the line isn't precise, but instead it comes up, the line is precise and it comes back up. These come straight up and they're extended because this is what creates that's what creates the effect. So a part of it is vocabulary and then spending more time making sure that your vocabulary is good. And another part is just making sure that you bounce. Because if you can't make that bounce look good, you can't make anything look good. You know what I mean? But I just got another question about skates. I don't think it's agreed that that you should be, like, a lot of them joints be like 15. But the best truck angle, it really depends on what you specifically practice with. But most people just go 15 with the heel. You know what I mean? But another thing to understand is every single time you vary the location of your trucks, it changes your balance. Every single time you make a small change to it, it changes your balance. Every single time you change the boot that you're in, it changes your balance. So that's not really like, oh, this is the best one. Because I don't get into all that. All that super duper specific equipment stuff, and I want to try this and this and this, and what happens if I make this small tweak. I feel like at the end of the day, man, I ain't never heard somebody be like, "Oh man, if only I had changed the direction on my truck. If only I had these wheels for this situation." A lot of times, then that's why I only skate on one pair of skates. Like, so I don't have to switch the way that my balance is built up. I don't have to switch anything because it always feels the same. Because like the biggest thing and the biggest difference for me personally was the length of the boot. If I had a low top boot, I was having more trouble balancing and working on my footwork. But with a high top boot and smaller wheels, I'm able to balance better, and that's what I really, really focus on. I don't really get into the nitty like that. But I can talk to some people to see if I can get some help or if I can bring somebody onto the page to help me talk about the best type of equipment. Because yeah, my knowledge of the equipment isn't that specific. And finally, I just want to give a couple best practices for actually working in the middle and actually training and focusing. Um, the first thing is just your goals and the way that you train. Like I was watching this B boy and he said that the reason why some people lose competition is because they don't train for the competition. And a lot of competitions, it's like, okay, first there's a series of rounds of ciphers that you have to make it out of to even compete. You have to make it out of pools to get to the part where you're battling people one on one to get to the finals. And if you're not consistently doing rounds in your training, you're not going to be able to consistently do rounds at the competition. You're going to probably run out of material, and that's going to be the reason why you get knocked out. So making sure that you're adding in that freestyle element, making sure you're adding in that performative element, and then finding different situations to prove yourself. Like, my skates broke, but I committed to making a television audition tape and trying to see what it was going to do with my little homegirl, Praul. I could be like, oh, my skates broke. I can't perform with you anymore. Sorry, I'll come back when it's time to drop the tape. But instead, I said, you know what? I'm going to continue to tutor her, and I'm going to continue to help her improve her act however I can. And then I'm going to continue to go down to the market every single weekend. I go down and I dance with the family every single weekend for free. People try to give me money. I don't even take the money. I can't take the money because I can't legally work here. It's not, you know what I mean? Making $3 to $5 at a market on the weekend for a case, because you know the police watching. They looking for stuff like that. So I donate all the money. I donate my time. I donate my money. But what I get is the consistent opportunity to test out my moves. Because me dancing, I could dance for you right now. It doesn't matter. I could dance at the club, walk out with several women off this dancing. It doesn't matter. I could dance out for Instagram. I could get likes. I could post it on Reddit. I could teach classes. It doesn't matter. The only thing that matters are true performances. I mean, it's not the only thing that matters, but you learn a lot more in an actual performance than you ever will in training. It's a completely different world. It's like when you go to a martial arts class. For a long time, when I wasn't sparring heavily, the the point of the class was, a lot of it was I was thinking about the drills and I was thinking about the different sections. But after I really started sparring, now when I walk into class, I look around and I see who's there, because I'm gonna have to fight one of these guys in like an hour, probably several of them. How does he move? What game does he play? What game am I going to play? Because now it's a different situation. Like, I can make this look good all day. I can make that look good. I have high kicks. I look flashy. I got a movie star kit. But if you ain't beat nobody up with it, it don't really matter. And the difference between beating somebody up with something and throwing it in the air is a literal universe. It's a literal universe. So even if it's just because, like, you know what I mean? Everybody don't have the same confidence as me. Even if it's just, skating for 30 seconds. That's the new thing that I really want people to do more. That's something that I'm trying to get more people to do. I'm trying to get them to freestyle on a song for 15 seconds. One in-place freestyle and one freestyle where they're skating around a circle, however big their circle is. And then just look at it. Earnestly look at it. And then have a couple standards for it, because it's not just about hitting footwork. It's about hitting expressive footwork. And by expressive, I mean, are you moving your feet in a pattern, or are you just trying to move your feet to do anything? Because those are two different things. I actually do have a Bitcoin. I do have a Coinbase. I do have a Coinbase. I can add that into this and I can see what's good with it. I'll figure that out. Yeah, I got you, Justin. I'll figure that out. I figured out how to get that joint. But yeah, just specifically doing it, and then if performing on Instagram and really dropping a clip on Instagram is a performance for you, that's a performance. Sometimes if going out with your friends and actually jumping into the circle when it's time to jump in the circle is a performance for you, that's a performance. If a performance for you is up to the street dance level, if you feel like you're getting good and you really, really want to push yourself, I would start street performing. You don't even need to street perform, like get your own thing. Well, because when I first started street performing, I was very, very scared. I remember the first time I street performed, I was up at the rink is actually closed right now. It's funny because Temple Hill Skate Palace is closing. I actually had a situation with a manager there, and I was off the rink completely. I said, "Man, I'll never skate here again." But then I left the United States, and they closed before I even got back. So I ain't gotta worry about that. You know what I mean? Like I never had a chance to skate there. That was the literal last time I ever had a chance to skate at Temple Hill Skate Palace. But it's not the first time they didn't close. They didn't close down and open back up a couple times. But because I couldn't get in the rink, because I had let the few go and I was just gonna go. But because I couldn't get in the rink, it was like me and my boy, we drove into the city. And so I jumped out and we were on U Street. I put my skates on and I performed on U Street. And that was for I ain't had a hat or nothing. I was so scared. I was so scared. I didn't know what the people was gonna say. I was just out there skating. And first thing I had to do was I had to get over that fear. And then I had to start actually imagining like, oh bro, what is your show? Like if okay, let's say some people came around and they stood around with you right now. What are you really gonna do? And then when I came out here, I got a little bit more confident. And then I was actually in Bangkok a couple times. And when I was in Bangkok, I was like, yo, because I went out on a shooting day with my homeboy. And I shot the videos and I was in a couple different sections and I was doing a couple different things. But something that I realized was like, bro, like, you were guessing for some of the moves and you had to repeat some moves. And if you really come to Bangkok, you might be street performing very regularly. And that's why I came back to Phuket and started down at the market. But you know what I mean? Like finding that, you suffer from anxiety when skating in public. That's absolutely normal. Lisa just said she suffers from anxiety. But that's like the thing about the anxiety is it never goes away. Mike Tyson talks about how scared he was walking into the ring. He was scared. Iron Mike was scared. He was scared. But he was scared of getting knocked out. He was scared of getting beat up. He was scared of getting embarrassed. But some people they get crushed by fear. And other people they use that fear to motivate them. I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm scared when I perform. I was performing last night. I was scared. I was scared that my moves weren't good enough. I was scared that nobody was going to like it. I was scared because I was dancing outside for hours and I was tired. I I just got back from an injury. I haven't been able to train for the last 2 weeks. So I'm outside going full out and it's like, you know what I mean? When you don't go full out for a while, you lose a little bit of that stamina. And I'm just like, bro, like I got power moves. And then like sometimes people come because, you know, a lot of times it's it's one thing to be like, oh, I'm here with the Thai homies. Oh, I'm here with the people at the market. Oh, Praul's family, they're always going to appreciate me. But the thing is like, oh, sometimes my friends will show up, people that I know from the gym. Or like, you know, oh man, sometimes some Westerners will show up because now if the Westerners show up, it's officially I'm performing for the entire world because, like, you know what I mean? If some people come up to my show, this could be it. Every single time somebody pulls out a camera, I'm like, turn up, look at them, look at them, give them something to talk about, give them something to watch. Is this show good enough? Are you good enough? Are you going to get dusted off when it's TV time? Do you need to wrap it up? So, like, I know that fear. I know that fear. But that's why I usually don't fall. That's when I really get to the point, and that's why a lot of times I don't fall because I'm scared of falling. I'm scared of getting hurt. I'm scared of in my career. I'm scared that I'll look back and like you know what I mean. I was dancing last night and I was tired. I was tired. I was like, bruh, please say last song. Please say the last song, bro. I don't know if I'm gonna make it. And then like when she take a break, I get my own set. And now that's the Michael Jackson songs. I don't even have a young girl sitting here. Oh, you dancing with while a young girl is singing. That's always gonna play. She not here no more. You really built like this? This is the moment. Are you just hanging on this little girl's coattails? You gonna put up or you gonna shut up? But like your heart's on fire, your lungs are on fire, my body is on fire. Cause I've been literally breakdancing outside. Like, you know, it takes its toll. But it's like, you know what I mean? It's like then I got scared all over again. I'm like, what about that moment after all of this is over? What about that moment when you go back to the United States? What about that moment after what happens if you don't do this well enough and now you gotta cut your hair, go back to the United States and teach or something? Ain't nothing wrong with being an English teacher, but being an English teacher in the United States is an extremely difficult job. It's unforgiving. What if you have to live your life as a person that nobody put no respect on your name because that's another big thing. If you don't do enough as a man, if you don't make enough money as a man, people will treat you differently. People will look down on you. What if you can't support the people that depend on you? What if you don't make enough money to support the people that depend on you? So it was just the fears of all of that happening was it was just greater than the fear of me being tired. And so that's when I was like, bro, you gotta pull it out. You gotta pull it out of somewhere. But yeah, anyway, long story short, I made it. I didn't go weak. But and this is all happening like live. Like this is in the middle of a song. Like, bro, you're dying. It's the end of the song. Bro, I'm gonna show y'all. I'm gonna show y'all what I do. Where that joint? Where that joint? It be the end of the song. I'll be like, bruh, I be under that hat dying. I be under that hat dying. I be under that hat dying. But I'm like, yo, pull the hat down in front of your eyes and just smile. Because if you wait for that next song, you get your breath up and you just make sure you smile. So when the next one come on, you can fight all these fears all over again because it's gonna be the middle of the song and this is all gonna come back. But so it never really goes away. I guess long story short. And then finally, this is my biggest mindset, and this is something that I think that everybody needs to know, especially if you're going to be doing performances, especially if you're going to be in the middle, especially if a party or thing is going to be actually going out and showing these things. Just having a performance mindset Understanding which of your moves look better from different directions, because like I can kick like directly in front of my face. I can do like a sweep move into a tornado kick. I got like a toe touch. But all of those moves look best from different things. For example, the sweep looks best if I do a sweep on the ground and then I do a kick in the air. If I'm just going to do a jump and a straight kick, that kick looks better if I do it to the side because you can see how far up my leg is going. If I'm going to do a toe touch, the toe touch looks best if I'm facing you as opposed to if I'm facing to the side and all you can see is a high jump and from my body to the side. So the first thing is just understanding where your moves look best from, and that's just imagining where the audience is going to be. And that's one thing that'll make your middle work or your dancing in small spaces better. And then the next thing that'll make it better, and this is my biggest rule. If you I perform in sets, not in breakdancing a set, it has a negative connotation because a set is a practiced breakdance section. And high level breakdancers, they don't do sets, they flow with it, and they might change something because sometimes you'll go for something and you might not be able to hit it. But the way that I break my sets down is I try to make it like a good, I think it's like a book or a good story, a song. Like people that say the only things that matter in a song is that everybody comes in at the same time and everybody stops at the same time. All the stuff in the middle doesn't matter. So what I like to do is I like to make sure I come in with a flashy intro. Like, what's up, everybody? Beezy's here. Solid, on beat, and fluid throughout the middle. And then I like to get out the circle like I got some sense. What a lot of people do is they'll get on the ground and they'll sit on the ground and hex for like 30 seconds. And I'm not even talking about a good hex. I'm talking about the arms on the ground, bad line hex. And the thing is, in addition to that move not looking good objectively, people will get on the ground and they'll stay there too long. You don't practice your groundwork. You don't run. Like, you don't exercise like that. You don't have a hit program that mirrors this activity. You're not built for it. Get up. Get up. Get off of the ground. I cannot stress this enough. If you don't practice groundwork, stay off the ground. And if you are going to randomly get on the ground, keep it short because you're not built for it. Nothing ruins a set like watching somebody spend 30 seconds on the ground, quit because they got tired, and stand up and walk out the circle. Everybody else is going to be like, cool, but I'm judging you because I know you lack discipline and you made a very poor decision. Because you're never on the ground anyway. Why did you suddenly decide to get down there? And then, in addition to getting on the ground, doing something that you've never done before, you decided to do it for as long or longer than all the stuff that you practiced. And what I really like to do and what I really focus on, and something that is funny, like people always get into arguments with me when I say stuff like this, and people always want to go back and forth, but they always talking about, be easy. Why are you always trying to battle it out? Be easy. Be easy. Why don't you just skate for fun? Be easy. I don't even want to get that good. Be easy. And it's just like, I don't skate on beat because I want to get good. I don't practice the basics because I want to be Christy Yamaguchi. In fact, that's not boss level knowledge. What are you talking about? I practice the basics because I'm lazy. I practice less moves on beat because I'm lazy. I spend less energy and I focus because I'm lazy. I hate practice. Hate it. Hate it. Y'all don't understand the difference between training for a goal and going out to skate with your friends. It's different. It be 90 degrees outside, bro. Dudes will come into the building, they'll leave the building. I got my respect up with a dude yesterday because he was living his life. He saw me come out. He came out one time to get something for his car. He's like, who's this dude? He hang out with his girl and then he go back. Then he come out again. He hang out with his girl. He drive her somewhere. She like, yo, what's going on? And then he come back in. And then he comes back out a third time. It's like an hour, 30 minutes, 2 hours later, and I'm still there. Like I'm still there. It's not easy to train like that. It's not easy. And then I have to do it. Like I was jumped on Instagram Live yesterday and I called out like 20 of the best skaters in the world. It was all fun and games. It was all jokes and stuff. But now it's like you got to put up. Like one dude, he said, hey, bro, we can do it on IG Live, IGTV. And I'm like, man, this isn't the type of skater that I could cook up. I can't. If I don't have my back wheels, what do you mean? I don't even have my back wheels right now. This isn't the type of skater that I'm just gonna power through without even my back wheels. That's like 75% of my vocabulary that I cannot use. And so it's like, yo, man, like and then the new style that I'm developing, all the videos, like, yo, like when you have to do something and like people might go skating 2 or 3 times a week for maybe 4 hours at the most. I'm skating consistent 2 hours every day. I'm doing 14 to 20 hours of skating weekly. Or boom or bust. I'm lazy. I don't want to practice more. I don't want to spend more time in the studio because I still got to weight lift. I still got to shoot videos. I still got to go fight. Like, I still got to jump online and type and edit videos. Like, I practice the basics and I focus on skating on beat and following these rules so I can spend less energy and get more results. Like, that's kind of what I really mean by like really thinking cerebrally. Okay, if I come out, I do a big pop out move. Instead of trying all of my fancy moves in the middle, I focus on making sure that my moves look clean, they look fluid, and I stay on beat. That takes a lot less energy than trying to do all your best moves for 30 seconds. And then when I get on the ground, I keep it short because I understand my limitations on the ground. It's difficult to do groundwork for long periods of time. And then I stand up and I leave strong. So the thing is, you might come in and you might do more complicated moves than me. But if you can't do those complicated moves inside of the form that I just set up, then it doesn't matter. None of your moves are going to translate and they're not going to read. If you can't do your complicated moves on beat, they don't read. If you can't